now that the fish is cooked, usually I tell people when they get off our charter boat, I'm like, cook all of it. The reason I say that is because this is what you do with the leftovers. So like king mackerel, for example, makes a great dip. It doesn't freeze well, it gets really mushy after it's thawed. I tell people, like, cook all the king mackerel, do this process, and then freeze the dip, because all you're gonna do is make it in a dip later anyway. So Mingo Snapper, Triggerfish. I already started doing some of this, so you did have to sit there and watch me do like 5 pounds of it. But I tear it apart with my hands, and one of the reasons I do this is because I don't debone so much at the fish cleaning table, because you lose a lot of meat to that process. So here is where I get to pull out any bones and stuff that I may have left in the fish. Shredding it with my hands, it just works better this way. You can throw it through some type of a blender or something like that, but if it ends up getting too fine, then your dip ends up being real fine, and it's kind of more like a paste at that point rather than just kind of a chunky dip. So we're going to use, this is about 1 onion. I got the second one there. I left it there to show you how big this onion was. Smaller onions usually have a little more potency to them, so I like using smaller onions. I really like the onion flavor in this. Some people don't put onions in it. And then we have the fish, the onions, a little bit of lime juice, and dill weed. And what we will do is we'll toss all this together, and there's no exact science to how much. I just literally do it all by eye. This is why I say a lot of times it's a different dip from day to day, even if I took the same things. But I kind of look at the consistency of what I'm doing, and when it gets to about the right color, I'll taste it, and then if it looks, sounds about right, feels good, tastes good, then I will add the cream cheese. Now, I have 2 things of cream cheese set out. I will probably only need about 1.5 of those, but you don't want to get it started and then it's like, oops, we don't have enough cream cheese. But if that's the case, then you have mayonnaise. Just finish it off with mayonnaise. All right, down to our last 2. Same thing for the onions. I usually hand chop them instead of sending them to some type of a mincer, because like I said, if they get too fine, it gets a really weird texture to it, in my opinion. Also, I have made this dip with halibut, salmon, any type of bass, to include largemouth bass, sea bass, lingcod in Alaska, any type of fish here, to include king mackerel, barracuda. I wouldn't probably waste this. If I had leftover cobia, I would probably do this with it, but I don't think there's ever such a thing as leftover cobia. All right. So now, onions on top. Quick wash. Let's save this paper towel. I'll probably need it for something. All right, so lemon juice, lime juice, just adds a little freshness to it. Dill weed, whitefish and dill, they go so well together. So that was probably about 4 or 5 tablespoons. All right, so that's what it's going to look like. And then literally, you just get in here and jam it out. So I always use a large bowl, and the reason why I always use a large bowl is because I can keep it in the bowl. If your bowl is too small, you're just going to end up slinging stuff everywhere. And so again, cook all of your fish and do this with the leftovers. And then if you have leftover dip, freeze it. It just sits so much better. Also, if you have fish that's been in your freezer for like forever, and you think you're going to end up throwing it out, give this a try first, because you may find you just kind of refreshed it. And since I seasoned the fish when I cooked it, There's no additional seasonings that's required for that. So this is kind of what it looks like when it's mixed. Don't worry about that little guy. Now I'm going to start with cream cheese. Same thing, just get after it. So I know just from experience that it's going to take all of this one. So sometimes you might want to lead in a little light on that depending on how much you have. Because then if you get too much cream cheese, again, you're just tasting cream cheese. So this one may almost get it. So this recipe, along with all of our other favorite recipes, are on our Facebook page under the Notes tab. Check out some of the stuff that we have there. This would have been a much different, it would have been a deep frying recipe had I had oil, but seeing how everything's out of everything at the supermarkets right now. I'm gonna have to use this later for toilet paper probably, but. Alright, so you know the consistency's about right. You want to just be able to make this ball. If it's too much cream cheese, it's just going to taste like cream cheese. So when it gets to about there, you've got no other dry material floating around in the bowl. I've seen people put mustard in this. Again, it's just all what you like. So, all right. My favorite part. Don't normally open this with a knife, but probably would be able to grab a hold of it. So, what to put this on? Ritz crackers, toast, baguettes, any type of a cracker.
Vegetables.
What's that?
Vegetables.
Vegetables.
When we use our peppers. I do.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Usually I don't put the hot sauce in this because somebody may not want hot sauce. But, man, if you guys could just smell this right now. I have also done this with cheese on it, on bread, on toasted bread. So there it is. So all that took me about 25 minutes. So it's very easy to do. Again, whenever people would come to my house in Alaska, this is what they would tell me to make every time. Mm-hmm. All right, well that's it. See you guys in the water.